Okay, thank you, John. I must say I'm pretty pleased to have John as a producer after his last presentation, and feeling a little bit recalcitrant here on my laptop without my microphone or my camera or what have you. Just going through the this front slides here, and yeah, I hope we can make that live event next year. SWOOP Analytics is actually a sponsor, and we're happy to sponsor this event, and it's looking pretty good so far. Of course, I'm going to enter this. I haven't done that yet. I need some more gadgets, and I'll do my best. And of course, as a sponsor, we're very happy that we're actually contributing to this this charity event, and I think we're going to need a lot more of this coming out of COVID. So yeah, go ahead and contribute yourself. Okay, so moving into our session properly, this is what I want to cover. I want to tell you a little bit about SWOOP Analytics and maybe a little bit about myself. Then I'm going to go through our first global benchmarking study of Microsoft Teams, and we'll cover very briefly some topics around what we're calling the worst practices that have been seen, the risk-reward relationship for adoption, some cultural modelling, that's sort of a research hobby horse of mine, and a little bit about people analytics. And then I'll move into, I guess the main topic for the talk is around what the impact of COVID's having on this whole Teams Yammer adoption and what the responses are looking like at the moment. I'm going to finish off with what I believe what good might look like going forward. We don't really know what good's going to look like, but I'm going to have a go at that, and I hope you'll be able to come along with that, and you can certainly debate that, and we can get into some very interesting conversations around that, and of course we'll finish with some contact information. So a little bit about SWOOP and myself. SWOOP Analytics is a real-time collaboration analytics dashboard or platform that sits on top of Microsoft Teams and Microsoft Yammer, and also Workplace from Facebook. Basically, we democratize analytics so that it becomes part of what everybody's day-to-day sort of work life is like. Now, to give you a little bit of history about this, the basic science behind what we do is a science called social network analysis, or sometimes called organizational network analysis. This is the area that my science background is. You know, I did a PhD in corporate social capital back in nearly 20 years ago now. We formed a company called Optimized in 2006, where my co-founder Kai Kerr, myself, just did projects on O&A around the world. So we got very deep in that. We developed a survey tool, and this is the sort of thing that we did. We surveyed organizations, and we created these network maps like the one you see on the bottom there. But, you know, having done that for, say, 6 or 7 years, we started to realize that, you know, it's like any analytics project. You know, you do a lot of analytics, you present it to the stakeholders, it's usually the executive. There's some great insights in there, but in the end, they've got to go through a change project, you know, and whether that actually happens or not really depends on how effective that organization is with dealing with change. And we felt really, you know, this is the long way around. You know, we felt that really change happens with the individual. If they can see their own behaviours online, they're far better prepared to be part of that change than an executive saying this is the way you've got to do stuff now, and all the change consultants that come through with that. So we wanted to create something that was for everybody. So when you look at the dashboard, the first thing you see when you start SWOOP is your own personal sort of map, right? So you can see here we've got a personal tab. That's the one you come into first. And then you can look at your business unit, you can look at your teams or groups, and you can look at the whole enterprise. The only thing we lock away from your individuals is that you can't look at anybody else's personal tab, right? That's secured to you, but everything else is open to you within the constraints of the security system that the platform is. So obviously we don't expose private groups or private teams or what have you, because we respect that security, but everything else is open to you. So you can look wherever it's public. So really what SWOOP is a collection of something like, you know, 20 years of experience built into a dashboard to give you that insight in real time. Now, the other thing we do is we do benchmarking reports. Now with SNA deals with the relationships and connections. So we only use the metadata, you know, that you're connected with somebody else. We don't even care actually who you are other than the ID. So in the SWOOP platform and in our databases, there's no messages, there's no no content, there's no team names, there's no individual names at all. Those are all reattached when it goes back onto your side of the firewall. So so when we look in our databases, we can't see that, but we can see the connection patterns. Because we have that anonymized data, we can actually compare organizations on this anonymous data, if you like. So we can compare just the connection patterns. And we've been doing this for over 5 years now. In fact, the life of the company, SWOOP's about 5 years old, about 5.5 years old. And we've done, I think, 4 Yammer benchmarking reports. We've done a couple of Workplace by Facebook benchmarking reports. I think over 100 organisations in Yammer, about 70 odd in Workplace, and we developed our first Teams one early this year. In fact, the data came from the end of 2019. And what I'm going to do is